Welcome back, everybody. Andrew and Kata here with you.
We're here.
Yes. The national championship was on Monday night.
Yeah.
And that is the main reason that we waited to do this show.
Yes, but a million other reasons popped up in the process. But we definitely do need to touch on it because what a game. I mean,
yeah, the
Tigers won.
Yeah, because they were both the Tigers. LSU finished 15-0. They win the national championship. What is it, 42 to 25? Over?
I think it was, oh God, what was the score?
I don't know.
Hang on.
Neither of us watched the game.
Hang on.
Why are we talking about this?
No, I did watch the second half, but The Bachelor was on. No.
I watched the last 6 minutes of the game.
There you go.
Yes.
The most boring 6 minutes ever. It was 42 to 25. You're correct. Okay. And it was, I mean...
Let's start that thing again. LSU finishes 15-0. They win the national championship 42 to 25 over Clemson.
Very exciting.
Clemson, I thought it would be, well, I mean, it was close. They were up 17-7 in the first quarter. I thought Clemson would win, honestly.
See, that's interesting. I actually had LSU as winning. I think they've been on such a stride this whole year, and
right.
I knew it was going to be. Well, no, actually, I thought it was going to be tight. I thought it was going to be a lot tighter than what it was, and it was for the first three quarters, and then, God, something just clicked in, and Clemson just could not make it.
Yeah, it's funny. The wheels fell off. LSU, just kind of overpowered them and put the game away.
Well, and it's funny too. Joe Burrow. You go into this year, and obviously Trevor Lawrence is a year or two away from declaring for the NFL draft. And you look at these two quarterbacks, and Joe Burrow is probably even say halfway through the NCAA season, he's probably a first round quarterback, but he's not number one. Just saying comparatively, and Trevor Lawrence is hailed as going to be the number one pick of the 2021 NFL draft. And I think Joe Burrow just completely outplayed Trevor Lawrence in every regard. I mean, he was setting records, obviously, we know that, but in every regard. And Clemson's got this defense that is supposedly so good, and where were they? It was a really interesting game. But now, I'm left with questions like, can LSU do this again next year without Joe Burrow? Because they won't have him.
My initial answer is no.
Right.
My initial answer is that they caught lightning in a bottle this season, really, with Joe Burrow. I mean, you go back and you talk about for the first half of the season, Burrow wasn't even considered as the number one pick. I mean, I see a lot of people saying that he had the best season in college football history. Statistically, yes, that's true.
Yes.
But it's very interesting that he wasn't the Heisman. He was only the Heisman frontrunner for about half a season, and it was only when Tua got hurt that he really, took on that role.
I wouldn't say that. I think doing what he had done by that point, by the time that Tua got hurt, had them pretty much on even keel.
Oh, I mean, LSU had everybody on notice when they beat Florida, they beat Texas A&M, I think.
Yeah.
They beat a couple other people before they even touched Alabama. I want to tie this to the NFL. Do we think that Joe Burrow's success in college will transfer to the NFL?
See, that's what I'm worried about here.
Me too.
Because that's, it's always the guys who are the most heralded players in college who end up kind of being a little bit, I mean, I don't want to say they're all disappointing, but they can be disappointing.
Well, it comes a point where I was thinking about this the other day. I was just like, the Dolphins are projected to draft Tua, either 4th or 5th overall, I don't remember. They just got Josh Rosen in a trade from Arizona. They've also got Ryan Fitzpatrick, so you're going to take on a third quarterback. It gets to a point where there are just too many quarterbacks in the NFL. They're coming into the NFL faster than teams can not wear through their careers, but faster than teams can get them out.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so you've got Andy Dalton already. Are we thinking the Bengals are going to move on from him?
Well, oh yes, I absolutely do. I think that Joe Burrow is going to go number one to the Bengals. My fear here is, this goes back to your original question: is he going to be able to perform well, just as well in the NFL? And with the current Bengals team, he's definitely not.
No.
I think there are other teams that he could maybe try to stand up to his performance in his last year in college here, but I definitely don't think the Bengals is that. And the NFL has history. You draft a quarterback first round, you're keeping him for a while.
Well, I don't think it's as unfavorable as a position to be playing for Kansas City as you might think. I mean, they've got a capable...
Kansas City?
What did I say?
You said Kansas City.
I don't think it's as unfavorable as a situation to be playing in Cincinnati as one might think. You have a capable running back in Joe Mixon, so he can do a lot. I mean, he
I know.
fifth in the league last year in rushing yards.
Yep.
I lost my train of thought. God, what was I saying? You have a capable running back in Joe Mixon who can carry most of that load.
Yeah, but...
And so what happens there is you just kind of you're going to have to build the team around them.
Right.
Around Joe Burrow.
Right. And the Bengals are in a good... I guess they're in a pretty good position to do that in a sense, but it's going to be years before that actually manifests. And is he still going to be as good? I don't know.
Well, I mean, by proxy, their division as well isn't very good either, except unless you're Baltimore. I feel like the Steelers are trending downward and the Browns are just floundering. So, I mean, it could be a chance for Cincinnati to gain. I don't think they're going to go out and win the division next year, but I think that they could go out and win. They're going to go win more than one game next year. Absolutely.
I don't know. See, I take issue with that point only because what we look at in the NFL, there are certain divisions that are obviously a lot worse than others, but I feel like you can still be an amazing team or a good quarterback or whatever and not win a division. So that's less of a priority for me as far as that's less of a measure for me of if Joe Burrow can succeed. If Joe Burrow goes to the Bengals and they win this division, that doesn't really matter as much to me. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think what we need is, I think what would make Joe Burrow a good quarterback for me is all in stats, is all in completion ability, PPR. Those are the measures of a man for me in this league. But I almost feel bad for the guy, because what is he going to do there for the next couple of years? You pretty much only have you've got a couple other guys. You've got Auden Tate. You've got a few people, and obviously offseason can bring trades, and they've got a lot of cap space right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know.
You've got Tyler Boyd. You're probably going to have AJ Green back. I mean, for a little bit at least. The guy's older, but he's still a good receiver.
But it is a different league. I mean, Mitch Trubisky was pretty good in college. Who else do we have as of recent? So Kyler Murray was the number one overall pick last year for the Cardinals. Wasn't very good this year.
Was not very good this year.
Yeah.
That was my question. I disagree. I think he earned his spot.
But the Cardinals got a lot better this year too.
The Cardinals are awful. I don't know. I
mean, the team, no, but the offensive weaponry, I think they really upped the ante from the year before.
Oh, for sure. But the Cardinals are still terrible. But I think that Kyler Murray is going to make them a good team.
I mean,
if
time will tell.
So I was going to say, if Burrow goes out and has a season similar to how Kyler Murray performed this year, would you say that he would earn his spot in Cincinnati? If they went out and won 4 or 5 games?
No,
would that convince you?
Yes, he would have earned his spot, but that's not, again, it's another thing that's just not it's not the measure of a good quarterback. I don't know. I kind of worry about Joe Burrow's future. I hate to say it, I worry that he has peaked.
He's peaked. That's very possible. Peaked. I mean, who's the last quarterback that you remember to come out of LSU who had this much hype? Because where my mind goes is Jamarcus Russell. I can't think of anyone else. Right. Not that I'm saying that Joe Burrow is Jamarcus Russell. I mean, no. we don't know.
No.
What matters is that we do not know.
But one bigger question, real quick, when was the last time a quarterback with this much hype came into the NFL and blew everyone's socks off consistently for a season? Granted, the wins and losses, they happen.
Yeah.
But was a really outstanding NFL quarterback.
Well, it took Patrick Mahomes a year to do it.
Yeah.
You're saying week 1 of year 1.
I'm saying year 1, you're impressed with year 1, you are impressed with your rookie quarterback. You are excited about your rookie quarterback.
Would you say that you're impressed with Daniel Jones?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think he had some good games. I think he could get really good with the right coaching and with all of his players back. Mm-hmm. But no, not yet.
How about... Not Jameis Winston.
No.
We might be taking too long on this, but I do want to continue this point. Not Jameis Winston. What about, what the hell's his name? In, Josh Allen. In Buffalo. I think it may have taken him a year or two to really get where he is.
Yeah, like, no. That's a difficult one because his rookie season was cut short.
Sure. Baker Mayfield.
No.
No?
No.
Why?
I'm not. I wasn't impressed with his rookie year.
Yeah, but you weren't impressed with his rookie year?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
The Browns, won 7 games in his first year as a quarterback.
Yeah, but they also did a whole lot to that team. I mean, again.
What do you mean by did a whole lot to that team?
They upped their weaponry. They had a new head coach.
Yep, they upped their weaponry this year too. Don't confuse this past year with the year
No,
before.
I know. I'm trying to think back. Or I guess they didn't have a new head coach. I guess Kitchens was there the year before, wasn't he?
Yeah. No,
Kitchens, not Kitchens.
This was Kitchens' first
yes,
year.
It was
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson, but no, and he was not new.
And then it was Greg Williams.
And he was not new. But then Greg Williams.
Baker Mayfield would be it for me.
Okay. I mean, sure.
And then the one that...
If you want to say it, but even then, I mean...
And then the really big one before that was probably Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, like it's just not common anymore. And if... I feel like what this media world is doing is just overhyping something that is not what it is. So that's kind of my take on that. But congratulations to the LSU Tigers. It was a blowout by the end. How exciting!
It wasn't close. Let's talk about this other thing really quickly. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We know the big points, but we're not okay.
Talk about a blowout. The Astros cleaned house. The Houston Astros.
Try again.
Sorry.
We don't know like all the facts on this, but we know the big ones, and that's what's important. The Astros cleaned house. We're gonna talk a little bit of baseball. The Astros cleaned house on Monday. It was announced that their general manager and their manager AJ Hinch would be suspended for a year by Major League Baseball, as well as some other things. There were some fines and draft picks involved. But then...
and wait, I'm sorry. Let's not lay over that. Not some fines and draft picks. Big fines and first and second round picks for the next 2 years.
Right, I know.
That's a lot.
That's some fines and draft picks.
Okay,
but the biggest thing is that they wouldn't have their general manager and manager for a full year.
This is true.
And then it was announced that same day in that same press conference that their general manager and manager had been fired.
Yes.
This is huge. This is massive.
Yes.
I wonder if players were complicit in this whole thing.
In the cheating scandals?
Yes.
Well,
And how much? And then if they were, how far does it go?
General manager came out and he said that it was all the players and he had nothing to do with it and he wished someone had brought it to his attention. Obviously, these are all, say what you want. You've already been fired, but and none of that can be. It's all taken with a grain of salt. One of my favorite, I got to pull up this tweet actually. It was, give me just a second. I'm so sorry. It just makes me think of this. The way that they were cheating, first of all, was just a really strange situation. At first, I guess it was stealing signals from screens, and then whoever found out about it, like smashed the screens out of just pure anger or whatever. And then it became banging on trash cans. And here was this line from the report. Witnesses explained that they initially experimented with communicating sign flipping by clapping, whistling, or yelling, but they eventually determined that the banging of a trash can was the preferred method of communication.
Yes.
And so Charlotte Wilder said, wow, sounds like a few of my ex-boyfriends.
Oh, boy. So
sorry.
So for those of you who are not familiar with what happened, the Houston Astros won the World Series in 2017. During their World Series run, whether in the regular season or otherwise, a video was brought to light over this past fall that determined that the Astros were seeing signs that pitchers use to communicate to catchers which pitch is about to be thrown. The Astros had a camera mounted on the center field wall, pointed toward the mound and home plate, which was then fed to a TV in either the dugout or in the back in the clubhouse somewhere. and the Houston would be able to read what pitch was coming and communicate either a pitch to lay off of or swing at by banging on a trash can before the ball was delivered.
Right.
There's video evidence that shows opposing pitchers stepping off the mound and literally being to their catchers, okay, we need to change the signs.
Right.
Like knowing that something is going on.
Right.
And so this is as harsh a penalty for Major League Baseball as I have seen in regards to cheating. Remember the Red Sox got caught with this with an Apple Watch, last season or the season before that?
Yes.
I've heard that many players think that the penalty is not strong enough. What do you think? The Dodgers are literally calling for World Series titles to be stripped.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, and here's the other part of, well, we'll get into the other part of that too, but look, they are cheating. I think that...
Well, yeah, no kidding.
But I think it's one or the other. I think either the penalties that are currently in place like go away and they're stripped of their title or whatnot. But I will say, most importantly, this is just another sign of a culture problem with the Astros. And ESPN Daily did a podcast right after these accusations were made. Mina Kimes talked to, I believe it was Jeff Passan about this. And the way that the Astros have been running for the last decade is very much like a business and not like a football team. Obviously, there is business.
They're not a football team.
I mean, like, the way that the Astros have been running is very much like a business and not like a baseball team. Obviously, there are business aspects to baseball, but the way that they acquire players, in Roberto Osuna, take that. The way that they... I mean, the cheating and the way that they're messing with the salary cap so deeply with their signings. Like, they got Osuna super cheap. It's running more like a business than it is like a team. And I think this is a penalty that will absolutely change that culture. Whereas if you just strip a title, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but okay. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
I wonder, this whole thing about running a team like a business, how is that a bad thing? You're literally a New York Yankees fan. They just went out and got Jarrett Cole for $450 quadrillion.
Yeah, and that was pretty ridiculous.
Like, I mean, sometimes you have to. I mean, they saw Osuna as a good pitcher. He literally closed out the World Series for them.
Right.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he did his job. He did what he was paid to do. This other, derogatory comments toward women aside, he went out and did what he was paid to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't mean to defend the guy, but
no,
like,
of course.
That's a business decision that panned out in the Astros' favor.
I understand.
This is just unethical. If we're going to talk about in business terms, this is just unethical practice. But I think it's just we're delusional if we're thinking that this is an isolated incident.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely not an isolated incident. People have been trying to get the upper edge in baseball for years. People try to get the upper hand on everybody in every sport ever created. That's what competition is all about.
Right.
It's just that teams sometimes go a little too far. We saw the Red Sox do it. We saw we see the Astros do it. I mean, I'm from Boston. We see the Patriots do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the line is drawn.
This isn't a little too far. This is a lot too far. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros aren't the only team in Major League Baseball doing this to some level. Mm-hmm. It's an epidemic that comes with technology being such a big part of the sport now. And I just wonder what the right penalty would be. And I don't know if stripping the titles is going to do anything. What they have done with the punishment that they have is prompted a necessity for a change of culture. And I still think in a way that them having a title despite all of this is a part of our history.
See, this is
it's wrong. It's tainted now, but it almost says more.
Yeah, no, I see that point. You get into a weird situation when you talk about penalties like this for sports. In college sports, it's super easy. Mm-hmm. Because in college sports, all you do is just ban the program for a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole point is that you're in college to get an education, not to play sports.
Right.
For professional baseball, you can't take the Astros out of the standings for a year.
No.
Because that's trillions of dollars out of the pockets of Major League Baseball because you have one huge market city that's not producing a baseball team.
Sure.
So you have to find some kind of middle ground that is, if you're not going to, I agree, stripping a World Series title would not change the culture of the team. So you have to find some kind of middle ground that says that this is wrong and should not be done ever again. And you also have to get it through to, the players and probably all of the rest of Major League Baseball as well.
Sure.
That these will be the consequences if you break the rules.
I do just want to say one more thing to my point of them running it like a business. I think what I mean by that, just to distill that down, is to clarify, is that the goal with the organization and with the staff that they hired was to win championships, to bring money to the team, to bring money to the city of Houston, and not for the, I guess, like wholesome sake of baseball. One last thing, I know we're going a little long here, but one last thing that I just wanted to ask you about. How do you feel about Major League Baseball teams being asked not to speak out on the situation?
I don't know why yet. And because I don't know why, I don't think I can give you an accurate answer on that.
Sure. But what do you think could come of that?
That's just bizarre. Like, why? What are they going to,
What could possibly be said that could make this any worse?
I just feel like a lot of finger pointing is trying to be prevented here. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't think this is an isolated incident. I think that there are many other teams that do this.
Sure.
Maybe not to the extent of, also just plain old stupidity on the Astros part. Banging on a trash can.
Yeah, come on.
Come on. Do something else. Some kind of, light flicker or something like that.
Well, I don't know about that either, but there's,
you have a green or red light or something like that.
Plant a fan somewhere.
That's devious.
I don't know. That's
MLB
what I would
team,
do.
MLB, if you're listening, please don't sue us.
Look, if I was going to do it, that's what I'd do.
That's
all I'm saying, in a way that I couldn't get caught.
I don't know. That's such a bizarre thing to ask other teams to do.
Yeah.
Is to not
to stay silent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why yet, and I'm sure that over the coming weeks it will be revealed why. But it's just a very bizarre conspiracy-like thing to do.
It keeps it a very developing story, friends.
Yes, it does.
So, anyways, let's take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're gonna give the sports a little break and talk about two different kinds of sports that we love.
Yeah, competition. We're gonna talk about The Bachelor. Oh my god, I'm so excited to hear how I'm doing. I bet I'm doing terribly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's take a break. Sit tight. We shall return.